Okay, this is the Congress of Vienna, a meeting that is called in 1815 to deal with the chaos that is left uh, as a result of the Napoleonic Wars. And so, uh, again, the Congress of Vienna meets as a result of the looming defeat of Napoleon. And so they see that coming, and they realize they need to gather to work out what this peace arrangement is going to look like. And people desperately want peace. If you'll recall, the wars of the French Revolution really begin in 1792 and last all the way until 1815 with little to no break. So this is a long period of warfare. And interestingly enough, as they convene this gathering, Napoleon has been defeated, but is only in exile for the first time. So in the middle of this Congress of Vienna, Napoleon returns triumphantly from exile for his period of the 100 Days, where he gains power again in France and takes control, driving France further into the ground before finally defeated. And so what we find is that they have a few main goals at the Congress of Vienna. They want to create a balance of power that prevents any one country from getting too strong. But they also really want to restore the Bourbon monarchy. They are very intent on restoring a monarch to the throne of France. They have seen the perceived damage that liberalism can do and what revolution can do. And they want to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And so they want to restore that. They are lenient after defeating Napoleon. They give France boundaries from their initial success in 1792, which is more land than France had before the wars began. So that's kind of a nice little nod to not trying to really oppress or offend the French too much, but rather create a peace deal that would be beneficial for all sides by giving them that little bit of extra territory. And they don't force France to pay any reparations for the war. Typically, maybe not typically, but oftentimes you'd see that after a war, you would make the losing side pay reparations. Hey, these are the damages you caused, especially if you were the aggressor nation, as France was for this case. They seek to balance the power by weakening France, and the way they do that is by strengthening the Netherlands and Belgium, and they form them together to create a larger Dutch monarchy, essentially a stronger power on the northeastern border of France. Is supposed to act as sort of a buffer state between France and Prussia and another check on their power. And then they give Prussia even more territory along France's eastern border on the Rhine River, so Prussia can become the sentinel on the Rhine. A sentinel is a lookout, a guard, and so Prussia is supposed to serve as this lookout over France to make sure they don't try anything like this again. And that relationship obviously gets contentious, as we will see in the future. The leader of this whole affair is Klemens von Metternich, the Austrian foreign minister, who is opposed to liberalism at all costs. He blames liberalism for all the problems of the past 50-ish years. He also knows that liberalism will tear Austria apart. Liberalism and nationalism will, so he's opposed to it. So again, a little bit more about Metternich. He's a German nobleman, also a prince born in the Rhineland, but as this prince of a German Confederate state, he works his way up through the Austrian bureaucracy, eventually becoming the prime minister, or the foreign minister, and taking on this role of negotiating this peace deal. He is a firm believer in autocracy and the power of the aristocracy to create success and to be best for each country. He says that the middle-class revolutionaries stir up the lower classes who only want peace, and so he blames this liberal middle class for causing these revolutions and dragging the dumb peasants along with them. He also says liberalism is problematic because it pushes for nationalism. Austria is a multi-ethnic empire at this point, and so that threatens to tear it apart with the Hungarians, Croats, Serbs, and so forth wanting their independence. As a result of this, there is also this formation of what becomes known as the Holy Alliance. Austria, Prussia, and Russia create this alliance to crush liberal ideas. and destroy any revolutionary politics. And there is, in 1820, so very shortly after this Congress of Vienna, there are revolutionary movements in both Spain and in southern Italy in the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. And in each country, they remove the king from power. And Austria and the Holy Alliance promptly responds by invading. So Metternich is terrified that this revolutionary movement will spread, so he calls a meeting at Troppau, where there he proclaims that the Holy Alliance has the right to intervene in any European nation where the monarch is threatened, and they have the right to intervene to maintain autocratic regimes whenever that happens. And so they get France on their side, and between France and Austria, they march down into Spain, and they march into the Two Sicilies, and quickly overthrow the revolutionaries, and end these revolts, and replace them with a king. These policies expand to the German Confederation, which is a gathering of 39 German states. Each of these German states are independent kingdoms, but they kind of work together in this economic cooperative and somewhat in this political cooperative, although not very much. And so this gathering of these 39 German states in 1819, they issue something called the Carlsbad Decrees. And in that, the 39 German states promise to root out any subversive ideas that they find in their universities and their newspapers. That is basically stopping liberalism from spreading is their goal. In addition to that, they would create this permanent committee that has spies and informants to investigate and punish liberal organizations or those who they feel like are speaking out against the king and classic aristocracy. So what we see is this, the Congress of Vienna is designed to bring peace to Europe, and it's taken one step further by Metternich and this Holy Alliance in an effort to suppress any liberal ideas that they see as disrupting the peace.